Hey, today we're going to do a video. It's been a long time. Andrew's back in town, so he said, let's do a video. Say hi, Andrew. So anyway, for old time's sake, we're doing a video. It's been a while. And one thing we get a lot of questions on is, what do I need to do to send my cores in? And what kind of condition are my cores? How do I take them apart? How do I package them? What do I leave on it? So I'm going to go through that so it helps you all in getting your stuff to us. As you can tell by my website, I'm not thrilled about the reproduction version of these. One's better than the other, but both of them need a lot of work to make work. Andrew did that on his car Snowball, and he's documented every bit of it at classiccougarcommunity.com under the Snowball saga. He used the reproductions. Today we're focusing on re-chromes, and I'm going to walk you through a couple of the items here. This is the quarter windows. If you have a Mustang, they're different. We'll still do them, but we don't have them on the shelf ready to go. You'll have to send us your cores. And if you're going to make this all beautiful, don't you want to do the stainless piece that goes on top of it? So we got that. There's your quarter window. And I chose one of my, vent windows that didn't come out as nice. And here's why it didn't come out as nice. It was pretty heavily pitted. And whenever it's heavily pitted, they have to grind and polish until you start to lose definition. Notice how that right there is not real defined like an original was. And if you also look close, you got little bitty speckles in it. So I say that to let you know you shouldn't send in heavily pitted stuff. And if your cores are unusually nice, send them in advance. Do not pay the core charge, because if you pay the core charge, I have to assume I'm getting no core back, maybe a poor core, and I just go to the shelf and pick the first one that's on the shelf. You send me a gorgeous core that's just faded and there's tiny little dots here and there, I'm going to hand pick through the 20 of these I have in stock and get you the best of the best. So that's why you don't pay the core charge, you send your stuff in advance. So I'm going to show you what a good core is, what a bad core is. This right here, in my opinion, is within specs. So once they go and polish all those out of there, they aren't going to lose so much of this. Here, that's almost out of specs, but the good news is when they polish on this, you won't see it. Your door closes, you just don't see that. So that's not a terrible place to have some heavier pits. This right here, yeah, this one's almost out of specs. I would look for a cleaner core before I'd send something in like this. So this, we can do this, we will do this, but your finished product depends on the core you send in. Here's a quarter window. These are a little easier. There's not as much definition. And see this here, that's pretty much below your belt line. So even if they do somehow have to grind off too much of that raised area, it's not going to show so much. This is within specs, but right there on the edge, that's getting close. If you have too many of those, it's garbage. And here's another thing I want to talk about, these rollers. Look at what the rollers look like after they've been dipped in chrome. They look stressed, but they're not ruined. Some people like to take theirs off in advance and drill them out before they ever send them to us. That way they're left pristine. But the problem is, how do you reattach them? I think Andrew also covers some of that over there at classiccougarcommunity.com. There's actually enough meat that you can drill and tap and put a wide flange screw in there. So now I'm going to take you through how to take them apart and get them ready to send to us. Let's start with the vent window, 67 and 68, same procedure. Really the main difference between 67 and 68 has this type of handle on it, and 67 was the sharper type. And then this differs because 67 and 68 are different heights. Notice how tall the 67 is and how shallow the 68 is. So the stud was of different sizes due to the different handles. If yours is broken off there, this is not a good core. Don't worry, we have lots of good cores. Also, I want to point out, check this out. It took me forever to figure out how to get that chromed. I talked to my plater and he said, let's just chrome the whole thing and then strip the chrome off of it and leave the chrome there and put a nice polish on the stainless. So isn't that a beautiful piece? It's kind of expensive to get done considering the amount of labor they have to do to achieve that. But I just hate seeing everything restored and see some crappy dull piece there. So I'm really proud of that little achievement. I'm pretty sure we're the only ones in the industry doing anything like that that's on our website. This is identical Mustang to Cougar. Here we go. Let's start with the easy stuff. And on these screws, I would say resist using a power tool here because you might just strip it out the head. Take off that little rubber guy. And this screw here is kind of unique. So don't just toss it and think you're going to get another one that easy. If you do lose it, let us know. We could probably give you one for free if you're buying stuff from us. Look at that little guy. It's kind of a unique little screw. Then we're going to take out the window run seals. This is what your door glass, let me get my standard screwdriver. This is what the door glass runs up and down on. And these are always bad. Just strip them out, throw them away. We sell new ones by the pair. They're not that expensive. And next, by the way, this is the best spray in the world, way better than PB Blaster or anything else you use. Probably should have done that the night before, but mine are West Coast, so they're not that bad. Some of them are so bad that when you go to turn this, the shaft has rotted inside and it just snaps. Again, not that big a deal. These are easy to come by as far as original cores. We got them on our website. And here's a tip, when you get to a hard spot and it just ain't turning, whether it's a screw or a nut, tighten it back up. Go this way until it's tight, then go this way and just rock it back and forth. Put some more spray on it, and hopefully you don't break anything. Again, not a place to use your impact power tools. This needs the old school finesse of your hands. And what I suggest you do is lay everything out in the order in which it comes off, because it has to go exactly back like that. Now you're going to end up putting it in a Ziploc bag for a month or two until you get ready to put it back together. But you can take a digital picture in the meantime after you've laid it out, and therefore you won't have to call us and say, how does this go together? I'm so confused. And you might have to get your wire wheel out to get some corrosion off this. You might even stick it in your bead blaster. Might have to do some soaking. There you go, the order in which they were taken off, more or less. So this might make some people wince, but here's how I take this off. This channel here, and I don't want you to send these to me, so please do take them off. Just gently rock it off. There you are. Left is unique from right. Now we have a hidden screw up here. And again, you know, if it's really tight, just rock it back and forth. You'll get it out. This one's really easy. Took it out of the wrecking yard. It's been laying there for years, and it still is rather easy. Again, just save this old stuff. Finding new is hard. Now, here's the part that stumps some people. Those are peened over rivets. Unfortunately, all you can do is grind them off. But the good news is, when you go to replace them, you can drill and tap new threads and use a common screw, because you got all this material here. Don't worry about it. See that? See that right there? Nobody's going to see if you put a nut on the back of there or you thread that hole. I think most people put a little tiny nut in there. And if they want very little head showing through, you can grind off the screw, or you can just use your rivet. There's multiple ways to put this back together, so don't worry too much about it. Here we go. Okay, with any luck, this is going to pop right out. Oh, before I go any further, you'll see that this weather strip is ruined. See, you're seeing the metal part of it there, the wire frame that's embedded in it. You know, you're going to ruin this. But let's say yours looks perfect. You're still going to be tempted to buy brand new from West Coast Classic Cougar. I say don't. Nothing fits like the original. And if that little strip in there has never folded over, see how this one got folded over many years ago and is for now forevermore ruined. If yours is just pristine in there, bead blast it. They come out beautiful, they're good for another 50 years. Maybe not that long, but if they aren't rusted internally and falling apart, FOMO still better than the reproduction. So here's what I'm going to do. I call this a division bar. Divides this window from that window. Vertical division bar. This is one of the pieces you're going to send off and get polished with this. Here we go. This is going to take a little muscle, nothing big, and you're just going to twist, 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 and it comes right out. There you go. And this has little clips, and sometimes they're kind of hard to get out. If they get ruined, don't worry about it. The new ones come with it. And if you're keeping your original and you ruin a clip, we got some originals here. There you go. There's 3 of those little unique clips right there. Pop, pop, pop. That core is ready to send in to West Coast Classic Cougar. Okay, quarter windows. Here we go. Let's strip them down. I choose to leave these wheels on here just because I've done a couple hundred of them, and like I say, they come out looking distressed, but remember, these aren't really meant to turn. These just slide in the tracks. So as long as they don't fall off and don't get too crispy, you're good. Look how ugly that screw is. Well, instead of pounding on the screw to loosen it up and break its bond, I try to get a really good quality screwdriver. This one's Snap-on. As long as it's a near new one, you know, it's going to do it. But I do this. Look at that. Now you've got a good grip. You've embedded that sucker in there, and you've also jarred the threads within, which is going to make it easier to crack free, because you don't want that to break off inside. That's a little trick I've used. Almost always works. That's a pretty darn common screw that you could probably get at your local hardware store, so you can probably get a new one of those and do yourself a favor. Okay. Now we got one here. And this is the same way. Sometimes this is just kind of rusty and embedded in there. Look how good that works. That screw is meant for that screwdriver at that point. And this piece sometimes is really hard to get out. There's a steel track in there, and it sometimes gets bonded. Usually, you can just go like this, but not today. So I'm going to take you over to the vise, and I'm going to show you what I do. Important to use a rubber mallet, in my opinion. You don't want to crack any of this stuff. But I'm glad that gave me some frustration there so I could show you how to do it. Again, if these are pristine, why not reuse them? They usually aren't, because usually if you bend them like this, they show cracks. So most times you're going to replace that. Okay, we're getting closer. Okay, here we have standard screws. That's kind of weird. How many places on this car do you see anything but Phillips? And so you got to have a screwdriver that really fits well, because these can be a pain. And again, you can tap them. Now if they do just come apart, splay, whatever, here's a trick I have for you. This doesn't sound very professional, but I say sacrifice the stupid part. What do I mean by that? I have tons of these. This is a part we don't sell very often. So if you cannot get those screws out, break it off. And then once you break it off and get the glass out, you can get to the back side of the screw. And it makes all the difference in the world. So, you know, try to get it off properly. Here we go. This is going to be kind of tight. that one's to see. So when you pry it off, you're going to be breaking this off right here, and then it easily comes apart from the backside. So hopefully you won't have to do that. But if you're buying hundreds of dollars worth of rechrome parts from me, and you say, Don, you told me to break it, you know what? Ask for one for free. Say, hey, I'm paying a lot of money for this stuff. I'm a good customer, damn it, give me some free stuff. Probably will. Okay, this gasket is not reproduced, and it's usually in fine condition. If yours isn't, we got some good used ones on our website. So try not to hurt this gasket. There you go. We got her out just like that. Nice and clean. Now you'll notice a steel track in here. Don't worry about it. It's not supposed to be chromed, but it's going to get chromed because we don't want to, try to grind out those rivets. I mean, you could, but don't. You're not accomplishing anything. This is ready to send in for restoration. So hopefully that helps you on getting this stuff prepped. Keep in mind, you get a nice big box together and you call us and give us or email us, give us the dimensions and the weight, and we can do what's called a call tag. Why? Because we get 50% off UPS rates, and we can get it here at a much lower cost. You'll still have to pay for it, but you'll get it done for about half the cost of the retail counter. And then we have it locked to you in your account. We know what you're doing when it comes in. We call you up, get a credit card, finish the transaction. So I hope this helps you get prepared to send us in some frames.